What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the best midfielders in FC24. We've got a lot to get through, so let's jump straight in. We have got so many talented players. The one thing that is very hard to capture in any of these sort of tier lists, it's why I try and make a separate, is evolutions. Because when we look at somebody like an Alaba, phenomenal CDM, he may not be the only one anymore, especially with the Fire and Ice promo. We have got some absolute units going on. When we look at Alaba, we look at Camavinga, we will come to Rudiger, Tomori, we've got Ramos, some absolutely ballers in there, and maybe the position might not be for everybody. So when it comes to someone like an Alaba, a nice position, but you've got Pep's legacy. You did have, and could have made him like a 91 or 93 centre-back. That is going to take way more over this 88 CDM. Now, in terms of the CDM, I think he's definitely good. I don't think he's necessarily in his best position. I think Ramos definitely screams a perfect CDM body type, whereas Alaba, I really like him in the centre-back. Camavinga, very similar. He has got his left-back card as well in the Fire and Ice promo, but I do like the CDM variant. Good stats, decent weak foot skill move. I think he's got an ability later on down the line. It's someone like a Rui Costa right now. In terms of a cam, very bog standard. Nothing too crazy from him. I'd kind of be more on the verge of saying he's just not worth your time too much, but then evolutions could really take that to the new level. Whether we get that now, in a month, in 2 months, wherever they decide to, eventually these sorts of cards will go into an evolutions as well. That is kind of how it works, and it'll be interesting to see later on when they have to make the ratings higher, what we kind of get really out of that. When we look at someone like Foden, very good card, but realistically right now needs to get that upgrade. The skill move weak foot is just not enough for what this card can produce in a cam role as well, specific to him, whereas someone like Bruno, definitely a better card to start with. Now again, we are starting to see even a 90 rated cam really start to fall. Pace is a little bit lacking compared to a lot of the cards we've got. Yes, you've got the arguments of shooting, passing and dribbling being still in decent numbers, but the whole game is changing. When you're looking now at cams, we're looking at the big boys only, unfortunately. Stones, I can just see his head popping here. I love the card. Very much like Alaba, decent in the CDM. It doesn't quite have the same body type that really works there. I felt like he needed a little bit more on that kind of almost agility balance to really push himself even more. He is still very good at that centre-back role, but with that SBC, go into the evolutions because you can make him literally the exact same card. When we look at someone like Gavi, now in terms of Gavi, I'm going to be brutal with him, but then also fair at the same time because the card is useless. Unless you are grinding him out. Both versions are pretty much the same. You get a 4-star, 5-star, or 5-star, 4-star. Both of them are pretty terrible at one or the other. Shooting wise, both can't do. Defending wise, slightly. Very, very slightly. Passing and dribbling, brilliant at. That is kind of what this card is all about. You can see the passing at 91, the dribbling at 89 and vice versa. Pace is at a decent level, but in terms of an actual purpose of a midfielder other than just assisting with a pass, he doesn't really produce that much. So I'm going to keep him in A there, purely on that passing dribbling mark. But realistically, when we look at the likes of Pirlo, we look at Xavi, who are very, very similar, they get absolutely roasted as well. Then we've got quite a lot of the low cards to start with. I think Dele Alli just isn't quite it with the body type this time round. Benessa, beautiful card. Absolutely love him as a CDM. I do think he again is starting to slowly fall down, and once we get some S's in, you'll realise what sort of level we're actually going with here. Same with Lippmann, he is definitely under a Rui Costa. I think for Costa, he just has that ability on the ball. Lippmann definitely as he progresses forward, but naturally this card, he's just not going to have enough. If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders. And I have added a few kind of cheaper players in there. Maybe like Bruno Gomes was an SBC, so it is what it is for him. I think he's definitely now on the kind of bottom end. But then we look at someone like Claude Maurice, a phenomenal card for literally like 20, 30k. 88 pace on the base, you've got 83 on the shooting, 90 dribbling, 83 passing, 80 defending. As a box to box, that isn't terrible for the price. When we're looking at someone like Gavi, you're comparing the two and looking at like 220k compared to 220,000 coins. That is a big price difference. And for stats that are very similar other than passing, you kind of see where I'm getting at with the levels of stuff. Whether I'd say he's kind of in that top maker, there is a reason why it's 20,000, just naturally. Kessler, nice card. Again, one that has definitely pushed the boundaries, and must admit, her base card at the start of the game was brilliant. Then we've got an extra upgrade, which is always nice. 4-star, 4-star, incisive pass plus, which was a great move for her. I think for me, we've got our first S there in terms of an overall ability. Got a bit of defending, decent amount of shooting there, and then obviously the passing and dribbling come into play with a bit more passing. You could argue the anchor and make her more box-to-box than she already is, and it's a very interesting card to see where we can go with her. Hadji, to be honest, I like Hadji. I think I'm going to be lenient with him. He is more than A. Definitely his previous version is going into a B category by now. He's kind of like that Rui Costa, where he's there and definitely can perform at the lower levels, but once you get into the top, he just doesn't have what it takes. We then have someone like Rabiot. Now, one of the big ones that has got evolutions, and this is going to be the biggest problem when it comes to someone like a Rabiot, a Foden, maybe even an Ali at some point. Their evolutions is catching up already, and because we don't get a consistent amount of upgrades from them, they're going to at some point surpass. They'll get another upgrade to go say 91, then they'll get some more evolutions to make him 92, and it just keeps going backwards and forwards like that until one of them breaks. Now, in terms of Rabiot, he's always been a solid card nonetheless, very good at that box to box, and once you get that kind of 5-star Rabiot, you're looking insane. At the minute, as a 3-star, he's not going to fit the bill yet, but we are due, hopefully, an upgrade for him. And Royce is another one that is on the cheaper side. I did think with Royce, he could have had a little bit more personally. 36,000, 4-star, which is nice. Good pace on him, but it's all acceleration. Maybe 82, but he's got 75 sprint speed, 91 acceleration. Dribbling wise, phenomenal. Passing's good, shooting's good, but naturally we just need that little bit more from him. I feel like he's definitely a very effective player for the price, but whether I put him in the category of what we're looking at with Rui Costa, with Hadji, to be honest, even Bruno, to be fair to him, Bruno's still looking worse and worse. How much is he coming in at now? Obviously, you've got the 4-4 for Royce. You've got a 4-3 for Bruno at 140. Naturally, Prem tax, 90 rated tax. It's going to have a little bit more factor, but if I'm going, I feel like I've got to bring Bruno down. I don't, because if I bring Royce up, I've really got to look at Foden again. I think both of them are good, or all three of them are good, but they're just not in that levels. Whereas Bernardo Silva, on the other hand, a little bit better. He's got himself a nice upgrade with the Thunderstruck promo, and he is now 91 rated, which is phenomenal in itself. We have got 128k for the 4-star, 3-star, but in-game is brilliant. The left stick from him is absolutely magical. He definitely would have been more of an S, I don't think an S+, maybe more of an S during the Thunderstruck promo, but now the amount of cards we've got is crazy. Dabina, again, I brought her in mainly because of that 5-star. If we could get a more upgraded to her, she was 88 prior, so she's only gone up a +1 regardless, but 75,000, 5-star Brazilian, great agility balance, decent-ish composure. She's definitely there. I don't think she's going to be in top levels, but she's one of the cards that you've probably not looked at as of yet. Koyunde, on the other hand, phenomenal. I absolutely love him in every position. Centre back, right back, CDM. He has got everything you need for it. He's just a brilliant card. If we're then going to get rid of a few of the lower ones here, because we want to get to the big boys, don't we? Caicedo is going to drop down into the B. Same as Enzo. I feel like he will be better in the future. These two are going to have big upgrades. You just know that it's going to happen. Goretzka, I'd definitely be saying he needs an upgrade, but he's definitely up there. We will revisit him a second. Gravenberch, I'd say the same for. Let's move the camera out a little bit. We're still all gravy. Gravenberch, I'd probably go there. Locatelli is an interesting one because he has got an 89 coming for the upgrade, as the Pro did manage to get the upgrade yesterday. So that's going to be a nice card nonetheless. Don't think he's quite S category, but he's much better than when he first started, naturally. Same as Rice, to be honest. Rice is very... He's a good card, but he was good a while back now. He definitely needs that next level upgrade to really put himself on the map. And if we was to try to go and put our first S plus in here, for me, it would have to be Ramos. Ramos is brilliant. If you've ever used him or tried a version out of him, he runs the game. He's nimble. His body type always works. He's one of them cards, if you've ever played throughout the generations, he works in every FIFA. He's kind of like how Virgil is at centre-back. No matter what card they give him, brilliant. Then we come through with a few more of them. Like I said, we've got Tomori. We've also got Rudiger. I think both of them do have that potential. Rudiger definitely is a little bit better in some aspects. I feel like they make the card more durable in different positions. When we saw him as striker, they almost just made the stats around him like they should do. Whereas like when we look at someone like an Alaba, they kind of just half it. They don't really go full in on it. Whereas Rudiger's always been that card that just works in the positions. But I wouldn't say he's quite as good as Ramos in that role. Ramos absolutely takes it. Now, the one card that I say one card, two of the cards that definitely go in there as well is going to be Rodri, Fire and Ice. That card is brilliant. The playmaker, the defender, he is just brilliant in that role. We was waiting for a new Rodri to come out, and they definitely delivered in the Fire and Ice. Whether I'd chosen maybe a different position, maybe even chucking him in at centre-back, I say that actually, yeah, don't do that, because I've moaned so much about having Tomori, Rudiger and Ramos as centre-back CDMs. I don't think I need another one, but they could have maybe... I don't even know what other position. His body type is so strict to that midfielder role. I kind of get it. I suppose you could have put him as a striker. I know, again, with it, we're going to see the same results, but it would have been nice to see. Bonmati is going to be in Team of the Year, no doubt. She is like Messi. She has won the, I believe, Ballon d'Or or Women of the Year, I believe, for the whole year. So she is a guaranteed up there and more than likely going to be like a 96 to 98. That's going to be a phenomenal card, as her in this is already brilliant. She is obviously one of the trios of Putellas, I think it's Patricia and Bonmati, a cracking centre mid that we're going to get, and this is where Team of the Year really comes into flow, and hopefully we will see that going forward. Patricia, I'd say the same. It's kind of like almost like that if you have one, you've got to have the rest, because they just work so well together. It's just brilliant. Fakir, little bit let down, not going to lie. I do think that card definitely needed to be better, and I think we're chasing the dragon that we're never going to find again. That Fakir from like, I want to say it was like FIFA 19 to FIFA 21 was brilliant. The left stick worked, the left foot worked, the left stick worked for him, the skills, the shooting was just absolutely on point. We're just not seeing that final demand there. Tarum, love the card. Ultimate Dynasties, brilliant 87. Comes in relatively cheap, I believe. I want to say he did drop down considerably compared to when he was first out. 274. Did he drop much? It was about 350, 340, dropped down. So he keeps going up and down. He's dropped to 258 before. So he has kind of gone up and down a little bit. His max price was about 388. So he's kind of up there, to be fair to him. But a brilliant card. Then we have the likes of some of the icons. We have Socrates or Socrates. I still think is a phenomenal cam. We have Balak. I'd say Balak's more of a kind of normal centre mid now. I know he was an SBC, so technically you can't get him now. And I believe even in the year in review picks, he's technically not in it. I can imagine that's probably all we're going to see from him, really. He may get another upgraded version later on, but when it comes to the Thunderstruck, it was either do the SBC or you don't get him. Makalele, love him as a CDM. I think in terms of in-game, he's absolutely brilliant. Same as Stoichkov. I do think he may not be a full-on cam. I kind of really like him on the left wing, but I think his positions that he goes with is just perfect for it. Then we've got a few more. We've got Barella in here. I'd say he's dropping down into that kind of A category. We're looking at Trippier. Trippier's a funny one because I don't think he really suits centre mid. His right back version, brilliant. I love that 88. It's got a decent amount of pace. Obviously got himself the 90 on the defending, 82 physical. This card has definitely had a decent upgrade to him. The 3-star, 4-star, the long ball pass. It's not an awful card. I just think in terms of him, it just doesn't suit the centre mid too much. I don't think he's bottom tier though. I think he definitely puts himself that little bit higher. Same as Firmino, to be honest. Another great addition to the mini release. Yes, name-wise, he's kind of still there a little bit, but realistically, in terms of Saudi, we're going to have some, well, I've got plenty of icons in the team to link him, but when it comes to actually taking out a position, I just don't see him going above and beyond. I don't mind the striker card a little bit on the slower side. Naturally, I would like him a little bit faster. He has necessarily got a little bit of dribbling as well. He's only -1 from this centre mid, so it'd be an interesting one to see. Alisson, on the other hand, I think he's a good SBC. Maybe a bit expensive, but naturally, we're kind of used to that when it comes to shapeshifter goalies. Del P is very similar. I think in terms of cam, he absolutely owns it. I would like him more as a striker personally, but he isn't necessarily in there because of that long ball pass play style plus. It just doesn't have an effect on striker, so I would kind of keep him behind maybe 1 or 2 strikers, still in kind of that centre forward zone, but it still gives him the option to really push, as he's definitely not anything near a centre mid. Then Pirlo. Now Pirlo is very much like a Gavi, to be honest. I think for me, he's got ability. Like, don't get me wrong, he can play the game, but from when it comes to how the meta is of the game, he doesn't suit it very well. And same with Gavi to some extent. That is just naturally how it works. If you're looking at a passing game, if maybe that is your kind of thing, he's going to work really well. He's got a great left stick on him. He can get out of danger. He's got the pass. He's got the dribbling. But when it comes to shooting, when it comes to defending, they just fall absolutely flat. So in terms of centre mid, decent. CDM cam, you've just not got a shot with him. Sauer, I believe, has been announced to be coming in the Team of the Year for the women. I believe the first one announced. Whether there's been any more whilst I've been away, that will be interesting in itself. And we are getting even more further down with this list. Let's see who else we've got. We're coming towards the last, I'd say the last few. There's still quite a few. De Bruyne, let's just go with both of them. De Bruyne and Bellingham, both now could do with upgrades. I think De Bruyne now is, for me, coming down a peg to some extent. Whether I put him A, I think that might be a bit harsh. I just love his Team of the Year. That naturally works really well. But in terms of kind of what I'm looking at to start with, he's a 1 upgrade from normally his gold. Realistically, the main attribute he's had is a 6+ pace, which is always nice. I believe he got no, he didn't even get a weak foot on that one. Naturally, we got the flashback as well. That's actually a semi-decent card still. To say we haven't had any more, I don't know if he was out before EFC 24 came out or if he injured himself after. But naturally, we couldn't have seen that. Now he's back. He's going to be in it more than ever, but we have got a Team of the Year, and I can imagine he's going to be in it. Same as Bellingham. I love the card. From his gold card all the way up through his, I think, 4 cards now. He's had a few. He's got, 4 cards? 5. How many cards has he got? He's got 5 cards already. Wow. So he's got his 86 as his gold, 87, 2 88s, and an 89. Naturally, you've got the Player of the Month that I think a lot of people might have completed near the start as well. But he is a phenomenal box-to-box. Team of the Year, Bellingham, De Jong, I can remember that from like FIFA, was it 21 or 22? That pairing was just dynamite. If you've ever used them two together, I'm hoping to get the same Team of the Year Bellingham, which I can imagine we will do, and that is going to be a card to have a look at. Ramirez, on the other hand, an easy S+. Love this card. I think for me, he just signifies a CDM centre mid role, and naturally as we go forward into this campaign of heroes, he could definitely be one of the ones that comes out on top. Same as Valverde. Whether he gets into an honourable mentions, I can imagine. I don't think he's quite beaten the Team of the Year. I think it's voted as KDB, Rodri and Bellingham. I could see it being that one, to be honest. With the fact that Rodri and also KDB have kind of ran the ship in that midfield, Bellingham having an incredible journey at the moment. He's unfortunately just that one little bit late, unfortunately. Then we also have, we'll go for this side as well. I like Pedri. I think he's definitely an upgrade from Gavi. Still very similar, don't get me wrong. He's not necessarily the answer to all prayers for it, but he's a little bit better for the price, mainly. Naturally, he's 89, so he's 1 rated higher. He's got the pass and the dribbling, and again, just doesn't have the defending. So he's very much sitting in that almost Xavi sort of role. Naturally, Gavi and Pedri are very similar to Xavi, same as Pirlo. More dribbling, more passing, not necessarily any shooting or defending. We have Sanchez, another very, very cheap card, and I think the one thing that I liked from him was his weak foot. Yeah, 4-star, 5-star, 34,000 for a cam. Decent pace, it's not going to be crazy. Dribbling's good. I think it was the composure at 86, that's nice. Agility, balance, decent amount of shooting. You go with a Hunter on him, you're looking at that sort of cam roll. You've got yourself someone with 91, 94 agility, balance, 94 pace, 88 shooting for 34,000 coins. That's not awful. The only thing that stops these lower end cards now is evolutions, because you naturally can do them for most cards now, but also there's no need. If you've already completed an Mbappe SBC, you've maybe then you could have got Eusebio done at the same time. You could have done Dalglish. You could have done any other player of the months, or even then just evolved a card. Alvarez can get to 88 and is a phenomenal card. Nunez can get to 87 or 88 as well. There's no reason to have these lower cards anymore. There's no icon swaps. There's no objectives that need more than 3 to 4 players from a team or nation. So really, they are left, unfortunately, just a little bit stuck. Whereas I do think there is some absolute ballers at the lower priced as well. But unfortunately, the game is literally just going to an ultimate team rather than an ultimate club, which I suppose is how you play the game and how you justify it. Talisca, lovely cam. I'd say he's dropping down a little bit more now. We need to zoom out one more. Jeez. In terms of Talisca, though, he's got an evolution that you can do, and naturally, we love the team of the season. That's kind of where we go with Talisca. In the middle of it, we just see it. We maybe have a few games with him, and then he just goes into the club, and that's about it. De Jong, on the other hand. Now, I believe, unfortunately for De Jong, he didn't get the full upgrade, so he didn't manage to go past 89. He just got a +1. So at some points, you may as well go for the 88 now. And naturally, the 88 came out after the Thunderstruck, but hindsight's a beautiful thing. 320,000 coins for him, a solid centre mid. I think he's got all the ability that you need as a centre mid. Maybe not necessarily the shooting, but you go with an anchor, you go with a shadow, you've got yourself a great box-to-box defensive sort of card, and naturally has got great dribbling passing. Conte's the same, love the card. We knew that we were going to get an upgrade for him, and naturally we will continue to get there. And I imagine a lot of these Saudi players, because they're big names. You've got obviously Ronaldo, Conte, Benzema. You even look at then someone like a St. Max. Maybe not the name that Conte is in terms of that, but skillful wise, he is going to get an upgrade at some point that is of a topper level, naturally. Then Conte, though, is just brilliant. The only thing that I don't get with him, a 2-star, 3-star. Like, at least give him the 4-star weak foot. 2-star skills is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen him do a step over in his life, but what a player. And naturally, even in the game, this one. Great defended, decent physical, nothing crazy going on, but he's got the aggression more than anything. Now, Martin has got an ice version. A solid card, very much like Dabina, sort of esque. I want to say she was quite, not Dabina, it was Marta. I want to say she was quite cheap, or because she was expensive. 137, 5-star, 4-star, which is always nice. Agility, balance, you've got maybe a decent left stick. 79 sprint speed's not going to be crazy. I mean, Travella plus, I'd probably go next to Dabina. Dabina at least has the 5-star, 5-star, which kind of is just an all-inclusive club. If you ever get it, you're in a club, that's you done for the game. Now, we have got a few decent centre mid and cams here. We have got Modric, phenomenal passer of the game. And I think with Modric, he almost got into that trap of being like a Pedri, a Gavi, a Pirlo. But in terms of the stats, we've got amazing dribbling and passing at 94 and 93. 82 pace. It's moderate, it's nothing crazy, but then at least 84 shooting and 83 defending. May not be the world beater of a cam or the solid defender of a CDM, but at the very minimum, it can be worked upon. You go with the anchor, you're looking at 88 defending. You go with, say, a Hunter, just to go all out on, obviously, the pace, you'd end up with 90-90. That is not a bad card whatsoever. Came out very early and got the maximum upgrade, which is what we wanted. Odegaard and Musiala, two very good cards in themselves. Again, waiting for the big upgrades. Odegaard from an SBC, Musiala from the team in the group stage. Both of them, again, are brilliant cams in the game. They are just now waiting for that next step up to put them back in the conversation, because everybody's looking like they've got a Zidane, they've got a Hullet. They're now looking at potentially a Zico as an SBC. There's a lot of cards that are just coming out that are naturally going to be better than a lot of the promo teams. We then have Renato Sanchez. To be honest, I don't really see him that much. I would have thought this is going to be a perfect evolutions card. Naturally, at the moment, the maximum evolutions we can go for technically would have been the 84. So we have got technically a 2 upgrade from that one. But I do think as we go forward, that card is hopefully going to get more of an upgrade. And who knows, maybe even if you get this 86, there could be an evolutions waiting later on down the line. As you got to remember, there is a lot of cards that miss out on Team of the Season. That's going to be the perfect place to upgrade them. I think Renato definitely deserves normally everything. Decent stats throughout, as the same as Valverde, but he needs to be that next level up already. Abide Pele, one that really, it's Abide Pele who always goes under the radar, and this year El Waran has had nothing. No love, no nothing. He just is not available at the minute. Last year he was everybody's team. This time round, not as much, and Abide Pele is very similar. I kind of like his base hero. You forget about him, you get the footies, everybody wants him again. This 90 version's not terrible. Great pace, great dribbling, shooting decent enough. You're going to whack a chem style on him anyway. 615 in terms of price, and there definitely will be more upgrades that allow you to get these UCL heroes. I think he's an easy S. Kaka, on the other hand, I think with Kaka, we're always waiting for that 5-star naturally. Managed to get the double upgrade, obviously, from the Thunderstruck, which is always perfect. And he is definitely one of the topper cams that you can get, very much like Son. Son is very similar in the aspect. They are, well, Son is technically more of a winger striker in my eyes. Kaka is just perfect in that CDM role. I swear we're going further and further away. We will get to kind of show the whole list. Bobby Charlton. Now, in terms of him, I'm expecting big things. I don't know if he is due in the Team of the Year. I feel like I heard that he is, but I don't know. I thought he was. Could I find a leak? We've got Essendon's due to come in. Have we got any more from that guy? Because I'm assuming we have got something. Naturally, he's going to be Ribery, Lahm, Essendon, Sauer, Ham. It looks like he's not going to be in it yet. So whether we see the upgrade from him is still 1.2 mil, which is just absolutely crazy in itself. I would say he's kind of more in that S now. Top of the S, but definitely close to an S+, and that's where the upgrade would be. Schneider, on the other hand, great upgrade for his UCL hero. I liked his base card, but he needed the upgrade. He was already just on the top of cams on his base, and we knew full well that was going to go quickly. Forward cards are always available in the game in the masses. If you look at the strikers, the wingers, the cams, there is always an abundance. Same with kind of centre backs. There's always an abundance. Fullbacks, not as much. Goalkeepers, even less, because they've kind of dumbed down the kind of how many we get. But when it comes to cams, we've got a lot. And I must admit, the 5-star Schneider is phenomenal. And then we have pretty much the last run of everything. These are probably some of the best cards. I didn't even put the list in like this. Putellas is more than likely going to get into Team of the Year. 5-star Dream. Hullet is Hullet. Matthias is Matthias. I put Neymar here. I know he can be left wing, striker, all that jazz. But in terms of the Thunderstruck, is still brilliant. He technically has the Fire and Ice at 93, but both of them are left wing or striker. Yaya Toure, it's just Yaya. Any upgrade to Yaya is always going to go in that top level. And very much like him, Vieira's going to be in that shout. Zico's going to be an SBC that we are leaked very, very soon, which is going to come with Carfu as well. And naturally, that SBC is going to be a must-do. Zico is brilliant in this game, from his Centurions to his base. I don't matter which version you get, because he is just brilliant with that 5-star. Now that's going to be the list. Let me move the camera so I can zoom in a little bit more. Let me know if you agree, disagree, what you think. We're going to go from bottom up. Hopefully you did enjoy. I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.